It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show, The Philosophy of the Islamic Law. And as usual, we would like to welcome Professor Muhammad Saie for being with us today. Professor Muhammad Saie is a professor of the Islamic Law in several universities in America. Professor Muhammad, in the last episode you were talking about that there is a story behind the unanimous rules and the rules that it's been differences. There are differences between the scholars about them. What is the story behind that?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا من لدنك علما برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. اجعل كلامنا كله واعمالنا كلها خالصة لوجهك الكريم. آمين اللهم آمين. What I meant by the story, that what is the original idea of having these two sections? Historically, Muslims they know that it did happen in his time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the Muslims they finished the battle of Uhud, and the Prophet ﷺ encouraged them to go for another event in Bani Qurayza. He said that statement that no one should perform the Asr prayer till he reach that place. So the Sahaba, they got this statement from the Prophet. They are the most fluent Arabic speakers. They understand Arabic language. They understand the Prophet's language, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But they understand, or they did understand this statement from the Prophet in two different way. Some of them they thought that what he meant is just to encourage them to rush to that place. So if the Asr prayer was due, the time of the Asr prayer was due, they're supposed to stop and they pray the Asr before they reach that place. Some said, no, we're going to take his statement the same way you have heard it. We're not going to pray Asr, even we're going to miss the Asr till we reach that place. So they have two different understanding for the one statement from the Prophet ﷺ on his time. He was the master of the Arabic language. They were the most fluent Arabic speakers among others. But even though that statement, because it is Arabic language, because it's meant to be this way, does carry by itself two options. How to interpret what he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's just an example, happened. But if you go for general viewing for Al-Quran Kareem itself, you will find a lot of statements like this. That carry different options from linguistic point of view. And it meant to be this way. Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to make a wider range for Muslims in their practicing their Islamic law in their life. One section does not have this wide range of options. Does have a very limited, it's very specified section. That's what we meant by saying this is the skeleton of Islam, the backbone. This is like the foundation, the pillars of Islam. That there's no different opinion among Muslim scholars about these issues, because nobody does have any additional or extra opinion about to establish Islam by praying 5 times, or maybe prohibiting adultery or wine or alcoholic drinks, something like this. So that way we call it the section of unanimous issues in Islam. And the other section is a wide range of options, because people, they might need desperately to this section in their practical life. maybe we don't have that much time to cover all this issue, because it's a very important issue regarding the what is the wisdom behind this. As we said, make the skeleton very solid. The other section to make it more optional, to accommodate more incident and cases in the future, on their time, in the other people time, to the day of judgment, inshallah ta'ala. Other things like to encourage a special Muslim people to have special knowledge to carry on the mission of deep searching in the second section, to come up with the better understanding for the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have like the section of Muslim scholars and mujtahideen. Other maybe wisdom to encourage people to be like in need to each other. Some people are not eligible to have that research. Some they have that eligibility or the eligibility. People are in need to each other. So you ask the Muslim scholars, right? And Muslim scholars, he gives his answer to other people. They are helping each other to establish and emphasize about one of the law of this universe, that everyone does in need to other one. You cannot just be independent on yourself. You have to be in need to someone else. It's a big issue about the qualification of those Muslim scholars who they are able to make that special study. Which is the maybe good maybe difference among Muslim scholars, which is the ugly maybe sometimes Muslims scholars. The difference is a big issue. We cannot maybe cover all of this, but it's a big one in Islamic law.
Talking about scholars, I would like to introduce Professor Muhammad Naim Saie to you, because maybe some of you don't recognize him. I will just mention some of the information that we have about Professor Muhammad Naim Saie. First of all, he is a recognized Muslim scholar, a philosopher and a thinker, and a professor of the Islamic law and its science in American Open University and several universities, in fact, in School of Sharia. He is a member of the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America, member of the Permanent Fatwa Committee, and one of the Muslim World League Islamic Law consultants. He's a chairman of thesis and curriculum committees at American Open University. He is a former dean of graduate studies at Islamic American University. He is author for more than 14 books in Islamic jurisprudence, hadith, da'wah, and other Islamic studies. Author of the 2 newest books in Islamic jurisprudence and faith science. He is an expert in Muslim youth affairs, expert in Quranic tajweed and recitation, and he gave lectures with expertise in both Arabic, and he's an expertise in both Arabic and English lectures in the field of Islamic knowledge, consulting and educating for more than 30 years. So all this, mashallah, this CV, and we have him with us in Huda TV. I would like to share with us your experience, not only your knowledge, but your experience about how and what did you face in America, in the West in general, in the field of da'wah, in the field of education, how to deal with youth, and if you can give us some advices how to, for parents, for educators, how to deal with situations that you faced in America and the West in general.
Well, I just to extend, my thanks for Huda TV and all the staff, they are working here, and special thanks for Brother Saie Ahmed Ragab, Jazahullah khairan, for this beautiful introduction. And fortunately, this is like, I've been informed that this is the last maybe episode in this series. I would like maybe to talk more and more about Islamic law, inshallah ta'ala, in the future.
Inshallah.
I'd like just to not focus on my private life, my special life, but just to inform the viewers that what is the mission I'm carrying on in my life. What is maybe my goal, my wish, is to see this Islam being everywhere, practice the same way it's been revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the way I'm calling it the renewal or the revival of this deen, التجديد لهذا الإسلام. I'm calling upon everyone in this world, whether they were living in the Muslim countries or maybe Western countries, whether they were minorities or majorities, to take role and part of this very noble project of reviving and renewing Islam, inshallah ta'ala. I believe, my beloved brother Ahmed, that our Islam is so beautiful. Our Islam is so unique. And Muslims are in need to this Islam. The world are in need to this Islam. I have found in my experience in the West that Islam is still there in this universe, in this earth. Unfortunately, Islam is being blocked in many cases, in many places, by its own people. Al-Islam mahjubun bi ahli. But while I'm carrying this kind of maybe painful feelings sometimes, I'm always carrying the same strong, good feelings. I'm taking this from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is very deep in his character sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whenever he feels sometimes sad about what he is watching, what he is seeing, what he's experiencing in his life, alayhi salatu wasalam, from different kind of people, like from hypocrite people, from disbelievers, from enemy of this Islam, from some shortage of practicing among maybe his own companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's always carrying with the same time the hope, carrying the good news, and always trying to spread this good news among others. This is his nature, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never give up on his mission, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never give up on his nation, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Always believing in them, because he believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I found that it's very important for Muslims in this century, in this time, especially when they are in the West, to carry with them the same nature of the Prophet character, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Reviving al-Islam by ourselves, by our practice, by our condition, by our belief, by our trust, by our confidence. We have to be fully confident about what we are carrying with us in this century. And I found that it is very beautiful, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, to see the reactions of this kind of attitude, if we are able to carry it on, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah rabbil alameen. We will go for a quick break and we'll come back with Professor Muhammad Naim Saie, so please stay with us.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Dear viewers, Hoda programs can be watched in the English section of the in-flight entertainment directory on board all Saudi airline flights, domestic and international. Sit back, relax and enjoy watching Hoda's entertaining and enlightening shows on your trip. Hoda wishes you a safe and successful journey. Hoda, a light in every home.
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, we were talking about your experience in the West, and you are originally from the East. So how you can see the difference?
La ilaha illallah. This is something to open some wound. It's very painful when you try to make that comparison between the East, where was blessed with the message of Islam, where they were sometime in the history, the masters and the leaders holding the keys of real civilization in this world, and extending their hand to everyone seeking happiness, seeking real life, seeking to be a normal and real human beings. And think about what is going on right now. You feel very sad. When you look at the West, how much they are so good in organizing their materialistic life, how they were organizing their human rights, how they were giving so much value to the human being as a human being by his body, by his flesh, by his bones, by his thought and thinking. They were focusing on him as a human being from that regard. Yes, they are disregarding him as a spiritual entity, as someone carrying the mission of being working on behalf of the commandment of God in this earth. They are mixing between what is good, what is bad, legitimizing some of their disasters, legalizing some of what is forbidden in Islam. But in generally speaking, they are focusing and taking care and maintaining the muddy human being. Human being made by mud, by the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are so good in that regard. But when you look at the East, which area they are good in it, you'll come up with very unfortunate results. I can say, very strongly that Muslims in the East, generally speaking, they don't have what they used to have before, the beautiful and nice gift to others. They don't have this reputation to talk by itself about the beauty of this Islam or this deen. They are so desperate in just maintaining the minimum, maybe, right of living in this life. They are so busy among themselves. They are in different, maybe, valley of thought in this life. That Islam is not number one priority, as used to be long time ago. I'm very fortunate person, very lucky person to live in the West. Not to enjoy eating, hamburger and Kentucky Fried Chicken and riding nice cars and walking in a beautiful and clean street, and to have my garbage to be taken in certain days, life very organized, but to have this opportunity to represent what I believe, represent what I think is the keys for happiness in this life. And try to make myself very little, and humble, maybe, example for others that, yes, it can be done. If they say in the West, President Obama said, yes, we can change, right? This is Islamic philosophy, originally, right? Yes. Always changing from bad to good, from good to better, is Islamic philosophy. Yes. So we are carrying this long time ago, but unfortunately we are not activating it. So it's our time, inshallah ta'ala, to try to activate our Islamic philosophy, because we believe that Muslims, they look at others as a very beautiful guest, very beautiful section of applying your beautiful thought of life. They are the people to handle to them this beautiful gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are the maybe fortunate people to have Muslims in the West if they are practicing their Islam. I found that Muslims in the East, they have to give some respect to the West when they are opening their door and their gate for Muslims from everywhere to have their chance in this life. I know that many factors behind maybe having Muslims in the West, regardless of the real reasons, but it is obvious, it is very real. Muslims, they have this kind of joy. And ask any Muslim lives in Britain or maybe France or in the state of America, how much he's enjoying his life as a human being. Yes, we are enjoying our life as a human being. Would like to take the opportunity to say thank you for these people behind this. We thank God first of all, but we ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to use it for the sake of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the cause of this deen, to be a good representative of this Islam, good ambassadors for our deen, and to come up with some kind of hope and good news for the whole mankind, inshallah, that it can be happen again, inshallah.
Inshallah. What is your advice to those who are in the field of da'wah in the West?
First advice for this maybe person who does not find himself as a good person. I'm trying my best, inshallah ta'ala. We have to differentiate between what we dislike and what we do wish and do love in our life, according to our Islamic rules and Islamic philosophy. We have to differentiate between people who do carry disbelief and do carry at the same time good behavior. We have to take opportunity of those people to make him a very good field for our Islam, for our approaching to this deen. I don't dislike that person because his name is John or Thompson. I don't agree with him in his disbelief, in his Trinity, maybe philosophy about God. But I do look at him as a very good, maybe, candidate for my message. So I could carry both love, meaning I wish him good, to come with me and share me and participate with me with the same beautiful boat I'm in, which is Al-Islam, inshallah ta'ala. At the same time, I'm trying my best, inshallah ta'ala, to move him from what is bad from Islamic point of view to what is good, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
I advise our Muslim people in the West to give good examples, good reputation, and to be good ambassadors for their Islam. And to not forget that whether they want it or not, they are not there for very low reason. They are there for very high reason. Allah made them to migrate from this country to other country for very noble reason, to be the carriers of Islam, ambassadors for this deen, inshallah ta'ala.
Even though that some of them, they didn't have the right intention when they went there in the beginning?
Well, that intention can be fixed up.
They can change their
Yes.
intention immediately.
We know as a statistics study that Muslims in the West, not most of them, they migrated to these countries for the sake of spreading Islam. This is as a fact. Most of them, they have done this for different reasons. But it is not too late. As long as you are still living in this life, fix your intention and say, oh Allah, from now on, I'm going to be Islam ambassador. I'm going to be the Islam carrier. Like the postman is carrying this beautiful message to everyone and carrying with him the smile, good news. Let's be like the postman, carrying good news for everyone, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
And fix your intention to make it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
What do you advise to the parents who have children in the Western countries?
Parents, they have very big responsibilities. It has to be started within themselves, be good examples for their children, their kids. They have to teach their children not by lecturing them, instructing them, but just by showing them the real condition. If I said, in one occasion that if the mother is able to show her daughter how much she is in love with the Prophet ﷺ commandment, the Prophet Sunnah ﷺ, how much she is so connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when she is praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, her daughter is going to absorb this love, this respect, this kind of politeness without even hearing her mother instructing her. Then they have to focus on their language. It is very important to say in this maybe opportunity for Muslims, all Muslims from every place in this globe, regardless if they were originally Arab speakers or non-Arab speakers from India, from Pakistan, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, born in America, born in France, or maybe born in Muslim countries. They migrated later on. Arabic language. I call it the language of Al-Quran Al-Kareem. They have to give this language what it does deserve. Unfortunately, we don't have it in the West. Unfortunately, we have the absence of Arabic language in many Muslims centers and mosques even. And the absence of Arabic language among Muslims in the West is going to maybe delay delivering the real message to the people in the West. People, they felt it the opposite way. We say, no, we carry both language. We speak the language of the people, of the country we live in, English, French, German, Spanish, but we carry at the same time the language of Al-Quran Al-Kareem, language of the holy book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the language of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And I have heard it from many people. Unless you are talking this language, unless you are able to deliver this language and make an access to the people there to reach this language, you are not able to deliver the same message Allah has sent to His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Professor Muhammad, we reach the end of this series, and I know that we have a lot of subjects that we didn't talk about, and you promised us that inshallah we will talk about it later on, inshallah. And we promise our viewers the same thing, that inshallah later on we will talk about these subjects that Professor Muhammad didn't have the chance and the time to finish it during this series. So we would like, on your behalf, to thank Professor Muhammad for being with us on Huda TV and share his knowledge. May Allah bless you and take you back to America safely. And dear viewers, we would like to meet you again, inshallah, soon. So please watch and wait for us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's more than just coincidence. You look around and see the earth, the moon, the sun and the sky, a beautiful creation of Allah. So how could you deny?
How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar. How can you deny the oneness of Allah? Allahu Akbar.